Hi everybody. So today this is going to be the second border I'm showing you how to do, and it's really easy. It's made of four simple stitches. We got a blanket stitch, we've got the lazy daisy, French knot, and then one tiny straight stitch. But it makes a really pretty little border. It's like a little garden. They almost remind me of carrots sitting up, but I'll show you here how to do it. Okay, so we're just going to go ahead and do some blanket stitches here to finish off the bottom part, or the base I should say. And I'm just using a pink thread with three floss, to give it a little bit of weight. And I'm just going to keep going down to the end. And I'll show you how I tie this off. It's also the same way that I started, because I try to keep the back of the piece as neat and tidy as possible. I think I'll make that one the last stitch. Alright, so now I'm at the end. I'm going to take one tiny little stitch because that's where I'm going to end it and complete it. And let me show you here on the back what I'm going to do. Now this is just fabric I stapled over an old picture frame I got at a yard sale. So I'm just going to go ahead and pull that up straight through there, and I'm going to tie it off with a little knot, and that's going to be how I finish it. That is also, pull that tight, there we go. I'm going to give it a little trim, and I'm done. And I'll show you here. This is also how I started all of mine. It's just tied a knot on the thread and then just came down and started. And as you can see, the back is pretty tidy looking. Alright, so let's get on to our next color thread. Okay, so our next color thread is the green, and this is just going to be for the lazy daisies. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to come out at the top of every other one of these blankets. It's going to come here, 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 and one on the end. And coming out at a little 45-degree angle. I'm, getting ahead of myself here. Gonna have to loop this around a little hard because I want to keep the camera in one spot. I'm going to come here and just take a little tiny stitch at the 45, and that's going to be one of my leaves. And I'm going to come back out at the same hole, and then I'm going to come do one more. Come up again out at a 45-degree angle, and there you go. There's my little, a little tighter there. There's my little two lazy daisies that are going to be the little leaves for my sprout. And then I'm going to come up right at the end of the next blanket stitch, and I'm going to go do a French knot. So we go 1, 2, 3, and I'm going to come right down next to it. Now the important thing with French knot, you got to pull this tight. I like to put my finger over the thread as well and pull it through. That way you don't get like a big loop of something hanging out. And then I'm just going to keep going down and doing that with the rest of them. Okay, so as you see, I've got all of my little leaves and French knots done. And now we're going to put in the final touch, and that's just this tiny little purple bud coming out. And for this one, I switched, and I'm not using a three strands, but I'm using 2 strands of thread right here now. And this is just a simple straight stitch, and I'll show you how I do that here in just a second. Okay, so I went ahead and brought my thread up right in the center of my little leaves there, and just take one little stitch, and that's it. And I go down to the next one and come out right there in the center, and again one little stitch. And I'm just going to keep going down and doing the rest of them in the center, and a little stitch, And we'll finish up our border here. There we go, and finally our last one. And then I'm going to go ahead and bring this thread through the back and tie it off just like I did the others. Now when I do these borders, I try to make sure I have enough thread to go through the whole piece, because I don't like to have to you know, stop and tie thread. But if that happens, well, that's just how it goes. Alright, so let me show you here one more time. Alright, so I'm just going to bring it up through my fabric, pull it real tight, and take a little stitch in here, and tie a knot. And oops, now I've made myself a big mess here. Let's see here. There we go. And bring that through and pull it down. There we go. And I'm just going to go ahead and give it a little trim. And that is, oops, put him this way so you can see him. And that is that border. And as you can see, it's just made with four simple stitches: the blanket stitch, lazy daisy, French knot, and a little straight stitch. If you want to see my tutorial on how to make this stitch using the fly stitch and French knots, you can just look up over there. And well, if you need tutorials on any of these stitches, I'll put a link on the end credit, or you can look at all of my sewing stitches. And I'll see you in the next video.